Namaste. Welcome to Buddha's teaching. Today's topic, as you see, the question is, where is your mind? Okay, so that's the question, that's the topic for the talk today. Where is your mind? So when somebody asks you that question, or when I ask you that question, okay, where's the mind? I think for a lot of people, they will probably say the mind is probably in the head, right? So my question back is that, are you sure, or is it in your head, or it is in your heart? Is it possible that the mind also in the heart? Because when we have emotion, we have feeling. The feeling is in the heart, right? Not in the head. A lot of people think that we have feeling in the head. No, the head is just where the thinking goes. Thinking is happening, but our feeling, our emotion started out from our heart. So where is the mind? Where is your mind? What do you think? Can you pinpoint to a particular area, location in, let's say, in the head, in the brain, and say that, aha, that is the mind right there. I see it. Okay, can you do that? Okay, so if you do that, and then you say, then you can, obviously, if you can do that, it means you can also see what it looks like, right? And that is not possible, as you and I know. The mind is nowhere that we can see. Okay, so in another word, so what is the reason? So why is it that we know that we have a mind, but we don't exactly know where it is? All right. So a lot of people refer to the mind as a soul. Okay, because we are aware of things and we seem like there's something going on. So a lot of people refer to the mind as our own soul, as a something that exists inside. Right. So the mind is actually is energy. Okay, the mind is energy. It's a special form of energy. Okay, so in another word, it has no physical form to it, right? You cannot touch it, or you cannot feel it like you feeling a material things or an object. The mind is the energy, so you cannot see it, you cannot touch it, you cannot feel the like it has a mass or something. You cannot touch it. So the mind is nowhere that you can see, or we can feel. The feeling that we have, that's different. The emotion, that is part of the mind. So that is different from the feeling I'm talking about. When you touch something, the hard object or something, you cannot feel the mind like that. Okay, so the mind is energy. So for an example, an easy example is electricity. Right? Electricity, we cannot see it. Okay, but we know when whether the electricity is there or not. You go on to turn on the switch and see if the light comes on or not. Then we know, right? We know that, okay, there's electricity, so there's energy there, and that is the what we can call is a hard energy. In a way, is because the reason I call it hard energy, because electricity we can measure. Okay, we can measure electricity by using different devices, and I'm sure there are all kinds of devices that we measure the current, the electric current that that we're using every day. How many watts, how many kilowatts, and the amp of it, and all that. We have device that we can measure electricity. So electricity is a form of energy also, but it is what I call it a hard energy, something that we have device that we can measure. Okay, so what about our mind? Our mind is similar to electricity, but we know when our mind is there is because like the light bulb, when the light bulb comes on, because we turn on the switch, right? When we turn on the switch, the light bulb comes on, then we know that okay, there's energy there. And what about our mind? Our mind is when the switch, what switch that turn the mind on? It's the switch that when we wake up in the morning. Okay, it's just like somebody turned on the light switch also. Okay, so and that switch on there is what we call consciousness. All right, when we become conscious in the when we wake up in the morning, okay, that is what we call you can call it the light bulb moment. Okay, because the energy now there's enough energy for us to become conscious. When we are asleep, there's energy there. Okay, and this, even though it's a mind energy, but it's a lower form of energy, a lower frequency. I mean, the mind energy runs at different frequency during our sleep and during our waking moment. During our sleep, when we are not conscious, the mind energy, the current that is running, okay, is running at a low frequency that we are not aware of, that we cannot become conscious because the level of current is low. Okay, but when the overnight sleep, when we have the sleep overnight and the energy is charged up, and the body is charged up back, has enough power, and when it kicks back up, the mind energy rev up, okay, to a different level in order for us to become conscious. All right, it cannot stay at a low level. So it's just like let's say a portable electric machine, right? So when you turn it on at a low level, you go at a humming level, and at that point the light bulb may be flickering. If you stick a light bulb to it, you may get some electricity out of it. Okay, but it's at a low amp, right? So the light bulb may flicker, it doesn't stay on, fully and stuff, like that. But when we turn it up, so that's when consciousness arises, and then the light bulb becomes, fully lit. Okay, so that's when our consciousness come on, the energy of our mind comes on to a fully function level, at a higher level, at a higher frequency than the energy level during sleep. Okay, so the waking moment is the on moment for what we call the consciousness. Okay, so for most of us, when we become conscious, okay, now the mind is functioning. Okay, where is that mind? Okay, where exactly is it? For most of us, our mind is usually out there. Okay, probably 95% or more. Okay, most of the time, I would say more than 95, but I'm gonna give it a generous figure, but I'm sure it's more than that, and a lot of people is 100%. The mind is always out there. The mind is never inside. So what does that mean? I'm gonna get to that later on. Okay, remember, we have 5 senses. Okay, plus the inner mind that we call the sense number 6, right? The mano, the chitta, okay, the sixth sense. Okay, so of all the 6 senses, we have 5 senses. So when so let's talk about the eye sense. Okay, when we open our eyes, okay, we see an object or we see a person, right? So right away, when we see an object or we see a person, okay, now there's interaction, all right? When there's contact, okay, and there's contact that bring a reaction to that object or to the person, okay, and normally when that happens, the thinking mind go with it, okay, whether we have whatever experience that we had before, backed up by our memory, okay, when we see an object or see a person, we assess that event, okay, the brain, well, I keep saying we, but actually the mind itself do the processing, okay, because we're not doing anything. The mind is processing the information that it received, okay, and then it assess it whether it's something that is familiar with, based on the memory that we have, that we've been collecting, or something new, right? So that's why, let's say, for example, when we went to sleep and we know our surrounding, what's there, what's not, and when we wake up, if somebody moves something or put something, in some different place, we notice it, because before we went to sleep, we have things registered in our memory, right? So the memory is a data bank that our senses access all the time. So when when we react to objects, when we react to people, okay, the experience that the mind is doing is normally take the thinking mind with it, okay. So now our thinking mind goes toward that object, goes toward the person, and with that there's creation of sometimes the emotion that arise with it also, okay. Let's say you wake up, you see somebody you like, you smile right away, that is called attachment, okay. You smile, and that is the natural way, okay. You smile, and so that is attachment, okay. Now there's clinging, okay. Now our mind is not here. Our mind now is out there with the person. Our mind now is out there with the object that the eye see, right? The eye see things, the mind is already out there, okay, observing and looking around to see if there is anything different, or all sort of things that the mind is doing the thinking, okay. So now our mind is out there, okay, with the object, with the people, with the surrounding, okay. This is through just an example of the eye consciousness, okay. So what does that mean? So what it means is this. What I'm trying to say is that when the mind is processing, see, keep in mind, all right, keep in mind that all this is happening without you doing anything, okay. This is the process of the mind. The mind is doing this by itself. You're not telling your mind to do that. It's automatic, okay. The mind is doing all of these things. You have no control over it, okay. The mind does that. The mind do that, watch, see and look and things, and all kinds of things. Now, as we know, we have the 5 senses, right? So not only the eye that is doing this interaction, that receiving the experience, right? The ear also is functioning, right, receiving sound. Okay, the nose is also functioning, all right, the smell consciousness, smelling, see if somebody is cooking something, some smoke or whatnot. Okay, the nose is smelling. The taste bud, you can taste, you can, in the morning, maybe you can taste your own mouth in the morning, which is not pleasant, but that is a taste, and that's the reason why you go to brush your teeth, clean your mouth and all that. And also, of course, your body here is also interacting with the hot or the cold or the weather in the room or where you sleep. So all the five senses are functioning at the same time. Okay, at the same time. So now the machine is running. Okay, full speed with all this this interaction, and the mind's doing this. Okay, noticing it, hearing things, smelling things, and all that. So where is the mind? Your mind is all out there. Right? It's like a radar. That's all that is out there, detecting, catching, contacting, receiving all the time. Okay, are you doing this? You're not. All right, you're not. Think about it. Okay, this is happening automatically by itself. This is nature. Okay, this body here is doing all this thing. Is nature. Okay, so throughout our day, this is for most of the people. This is how the mind works, and for most of the people, the mind is always out there. Okay, and of course, as we know, the mind runs on desire a lot of time. Okay, and the mind runs on like and dislike, right? Greed, dislike lead to anger or jealousy and all that. So the mind is out there doing all these things here. Okay, it's never inside. Okay, the mind never stay inside. It is the nature of a human being that once we awake, we have to be alert. Okay, since the early days of the human, we have to be alert, right, in order to defend ourselves, and also in order to hunt, right, to find food and things like that. So this is human, right? The human body and the human nature is like this. Now, because of that, our mind, our radar is designed to detect everything all around us. The mind is always out there. It's always thinking about the person, thinking about event, thinking about object, thinking about car, about house, about job, about kids, parents, about past memory, about future. It's always out there. Okay, that's where our mind is. More than 95% of the time, that's where our mind is. Our mind is never in here. Okay, it generates emotion. It generates because the mind is out there, clinging, attaching, and like and dislike and all that. That's where our mind is, right? Most of the time. But there are times, little time here and there, that once in a while we feel within that time that, let's say you have a very, very busy day. You're doing a lot of stuff. Okay, moving around, doing many things, and then you're so like, oh, I think I need to take a break. Okay, so for example, let's say I need to take a break, sit down a little bit, just you just close your eyes a little bit, say, oh, like this, and that's the moment when you bring your mind back in. Okay, you just breathe in, you relax, you're not thinking about anything, right? Just relax, and that is when you are with your mind, the inner mind. Okay, that is the moment when your mind is not out there. When your mind comes back here, all right, then the mind becomes peaceful and relaxed, because the mind, when the mind is out there, the mind is always running, the mind is chasing after things, right? Always doing the thinking and all that. So the mind is tired, right? And after running for a certain time, it becomes overheated, and the mind needs to pull back. Say, I need a break, need a rest, And when you go, that's when it comes back in, right? That's when the mind comes back in. Okay, and how often do you do that, right? It's a lot of people, I don't know, but it's very useful, it's very beneficial to have more of that break, all right? To be able to bring the mind back within, okay? Instead of having your mind always out there, right? Looking at your smartphone all the time, right? Scrolling on social media, watching TV, listening to the news and all the stress and everything. When the mind is always out there, it's very crazy going. It's very beneficial to bring your mind back in. Okay, if you want to have a nice and peaceful mind, right? Which is of course very good for our health and very good for the mind itself. Okay, but the mind has to be able to remind itself that it needs to come back. Okay, it needs to come back often, to take short break. Okay, instead of running out there all the time, right? Instead of running all the time, it becomes overheated. So the mind, the more you can bring the mind back to be in here, the more you cultivate a peaceful feeling inside, instead of always like having like adrenaline running through your vein all the time. You feel more calm, you feel cool, okay? You feel more relaxed, you feel more easy. So, and when you are feeling more relaxed and you're feeling easy and calm, believe it or not, when the mind goes back out, the mind can perform better than before, because the mind had some time to rest, right? So the mind is sort of like get a refresh moment, during the day, throughout the day. So if you have mini breaks during the day, even though 2-3 minutes or a few minutes, okay, in and out, the mind is cool, okay? It keeps cool. You keep the fan on to keep it in a way that instead of having the mind out there all the time, you bring it back, right? So what does that mean when you bring it back? It means you are releasing your attachment to things. That's what it means, okay? Because when your mind is out there, that means your mind is attaching to things, clinging to people, clinging to whatever desire that you have, okay? And that is very tiring, right? But if you let go some of those, okay, the more you can let it go, the more the less the burden that you feel, right? So now you're feeling more energized inside here, believe it or not, because now you have like a better mood or a better condition to this being right here, okay? Have a better control of the flow of the mind. So now that you have the awareness of the mind flow, you can learn to balance it instead of out there all the time attaching and clinging. You learn how to balance it. Okay, there are times that you need to have your mind out there because we need to do things, we need to perform duties, so that is okay. But a lot of time we don't need to have our mind out there, such as thinking about what that person say about me, or have a dislike of a person, or expressing some kind of opinion about what, and it's not healthy for the mind. Okay, but when the mind is not aware of that, the mind keeps doing that to itself. Okay, which is unfortunate. To a lot of people are doing that because they're not aware of the mental activity that is happening. Okay, the mental activity that is happening all the time. So in another word, when your mind is out there, it means that the mind is just like this. A lot of times we compare to the mind to like let's say like a pond of water, right? Calm pond of water, and the fish is at the bottom. Okay, but every time when somebody throw a bait, right, throw a bait onto the surface of the water, the fish jump to grab the bait and get hooked. Okay, and then boom, it got taken away. So there goes your mind. Okay, and then the next bait comes through the ear, you hear something, and then the mind is the fish, right? There's a sound and the mind jump to grab that sound and get hooked, and it's taken away. So the mind is gone to the sound. Okay, and this happens all the time, right? If you observe this in yourself, you will see how the mind works. Okay, how your mind works. Okay, and everyone's mind works the same way, right? When there's hook, when there's bait coming with the hook, and just keep hooking you, the mind out, right? Your mind is always taken out there, with the bait that comes in, the bait through the nose, the smell, right, the taste, the bait through the tactile sensation, the body sensation, and the eyes and the ears, especially have a lot of baits coming all the time that hook your mind out, right? Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, because we just react to this, we react to that, we react to what we hear, we react to what we see, and all that that's what we call ignorant mind. Okay, the mind that is restless, the mind that cannot stay still, and the mind that we call ignorant mind, the mind that is not knowing. Okay, the mind that is not knowing, that's what we call ignorant mind. So how do we help ourselves with this situation? The only way that if you want to have a good healthy mind, you have to know, you have to learn how to balance this the mind activities. Okay, so now the mind needs to be trained, and the mind needs to be observed, and the mind needs to be understood. Okay, right? So the way to train the mind, okay, because the reason that we want the mind to be here more, okay, and the more you have the mind here, the better your health, okay, the better your mental process, okay, you have a clear mind, a cooler mind, okay, the mind that is not jumping all over the place all the time, the mind is more peaceful, that's more content, okay, that is more calm, not easily disturbed, okay, the mind that doesn't just always go after the bait that is thrown at it. Okay, the mind that is already content with itself, without needing to, grab on, to hook on, to go after the bait to make itself happy. The mind that is already happy don't need to go grab the different baits. Okay, so how do we train that mind from keep jumping after bait after bait, right? Bait after bait. It's through samadhi meditation. Okay, because samadhi meditation, and especially it's the breath meditation, where the meditation teach you how to just sit there in comfortable place, and watch your breath, right? And which is a very good practice to do. A lot of people do not understand why you just want to watch your breath. That's the reason. The reason is to train our mind from, jumping after the bait. Okay, as you sit there, watch with your leg crossed, right over left leg, and you breathe in and breathe out. You watch your breath. When your breath come in, you know the breath come in, and when the breath goes out, you know the breath goes out, right? When the breath is long, you know that the breath is long. When the breath is short, you also know that the breath is short. But you're not doing anything or commanding a long or short breath. You just let the body does the breathing, right? The body does the breathing by itself. Okay, and throughout our day, our body does the breathing by itself. We are not aware of it. Okay, but when we go to sit down and do breathing meditation, we become aware of that function. But when we're not doing that, we're not aware of what the body is doing. So now when we go to do the breath meditation, we become aware, now we are coming home to our body, okay, and we are with the body and observing the body function. Okay, so as the body breathes, you just watch, you just observe and becoming aware what the body is doing. That is samadhi meditation. Okay, that's all there is to it. You just observe when the breath come in. Okay, the breath is coming in, and you know where it is. It touched the over here, and then when the breath go out, you know where it is. You feel the warmth of the breath. Whether the breath is short or long, you know that too, right? And that's all you do, observing that what the body does. Okay, now of course, as you sit down doing that, and when you begin doing this, your mind is never been through this, right? So as you do this, now you try, as you direct the attention to the breath, and all of a sudden, because the memory clicks in or whatever, the mind jump again, gone, right? You forgot about this breath. Okay, your mind want to go somewhere again. Okay, go there, you hear the sound, think about something or what, there goes your mind again. So that is the duty of the meditator. After a while, and then you become, my mind is there again. All right, bring it back. Now you come back and you observe the breath again. Now you come back to your body and observe this again. So this is how you practice of bringing the mind in. Okay, or bringing the mind in. Okay, because most of the time our mind is out there. The meditation bring the mind in. When you become friendly with your own mind, which is with your own body here, get to know itself. This is, after a while, when you practice this, you can do this even during your normal daily activity. even when you are doing things, you can always bring your mind in, right? Instead of having your mind jump, react to things all the time, you stop doing that. You have your mind in here. As when you keep your mind in here, now you are more calm, you're more responsive in the proper way, not reacting. Okay, you can learn to respond when necessary. Okay, such as learn to speak properly instead of yelling out and with anger and all that, right? Because you understand that you follow the teaching about the anger and all that. So this is how the practice go, and as you practice more and more, let go of the bait, right? When the bait comes, you become aware. Okay, you learn how to be aware of the bait that comes through the seeing, right? You go to the shopping mall, you see jewelry, you see a new object, new watch, new blouse, right? New purse, okay? All kinds of things that attract you, right? Those are the baits that boom, there you go, right? So you need to bring it back in, and that's a practice that you can, after you do it in your room, you do that, you practice that while you're outside also physically. Okay, and that turns into what we call a vipassana meditation while you are out there. But start out with samadhi meditation, watching the breath as one of the popular things that people do. And of course, as you all know, most of our suffering, right, comes from attachment, comes from desire, comes from clinging to things. Okay, so now that you let go of those attachments, right? Let go of those clinging. The more you let go, the more peaceful you have. Okay, the less suffering you have. Okay, see, that is the benefit. The ultimate benefit is, as you let go of all those clinging, the attachment to the cell phone, you let go. Now you have more peace because you have less attachment. Okay, so it's important to know where your mind is. Okay, and a healthy mind spends most of its time with it. Right, so that's the message I have for you today. And here's one thing that I like you to do if you want to. Your comments or your feedback is very important. Okay, if you have any question or any suggestion or whatever on our topics, you leave me a comment, down below, and those comments, and especially the questions, those are the fuel to what I think that I need to to talk about. Okay, so give me the fuel and I will produce. Okay, if you have things that in mind that you would like to know, okay, I will do my best. Right, until next time, I like to pay respect to the triple gems. I like to pay respect to the Buddha. I like to pay respect to the Dharma, and I like to pay respect to the Sangha. Namaste.